Fiesta. Welcome everyone to College Football Time with Avery Miguel. Tonight is the night, Fiesta Bowl, Ole Miss versus Miami. Um, man, oh man, this is so exciting. Avery, how are you? Are you excited for this one?
I'm good. I think this is possibly the most exciting playoff game, since its inception. This is only the second year of the 12-team playoff. I think both schools, I think probably both school, I think because of the schools, the country is kind of surprised that it's these two in one of the playoff matchups. So I think this is going to be great, not only for both schools, but I think this could be a very enjoyable game for any college football fan tuning in tonight.
Yes, indeed. And I don't want to hear no complaints. People are gonna complain anyway, so they're gonna make excuses like, yeah, they benefited from the playoff system and etc. Shut up, people. Just
I, and here's the thing,
enjoy it.
I don't see how either team benefited. The only benefit that the only team that really benefited, even though it was Miami, but they're still the lowest seed. And they benefited by beating Notre Dame the first game of the year. So if that's their benefit, it's the benefit of any college football team. You win your games. That's the point. You have this football program that you send your sons to, that your sons want to play for a certain school, whether they were fans growing up or they live near them. That's the point. They want to play for these really great football programs, and like who the benefit is going to the school. And not only that, but like I've said before, you are student athletes. It is also the education. To get an education from, we're going to talk about the four schools in general. These are four good academic universities. And not only do these young men get to play football, but they get a good education as well.
Miami has busted their hump ever since they lost to SMU. And we've always talked about this, Avery, that teams have to go through certain losses in a season for them to galvanize the troops. They had to restructure everything. And I believe that loss against SMU did something to that team that they just didn't look back. It was like last year, the Michigan Wolverines, beating Ohio State. Ohio State did not fluster after that. They were red hot after that. Miami has earned it. They beat I feel like the decisive win against Pitt was huge. It helped them a lot. And then from there, they beat Texas A&M, which was huge. And then they beat Ohio State. I just feel it, Avery,
Yeah,
that it's
I agree. I think
gonna
I
be
think their loss, I think their loss to Louisville kind of shook them up. And then the loss to SMU kind of turned the tide. I definitely agree on that point. But that decisive win for Pitt got it rolling. That decisive win got the ball rolling for Miami. And I mean, like I can admit from the outside, I'm like, okay, I think Miami's got it. I think Miami's got it. But the main thing that I've had an issue with Miami, especially for the past few years, is they do not play 60 minutes of football. However, with Texas A&M, they played 60 minutes of football. With Ohio State, not only did they play 60 minutes of football, they played excellent 60 minutes of football, especially on the defensive side. And they need to take those elements and use them against Ole Miss. And Ole Miss is probably looking at the two games Miami won to get them in the position right now. And they're looking at it and say, okay, their defense is really good. let's see how this is going to work to our benefit and look for Ole Miss to kind of take those defensive aspects from the Hurricanes and see if they can work to their advantage. Now, Ole Miss, they got their revenge. One loss, Georgia, and they had that loss. They played Georgia again. They're like, "Hey, we're going to do this and it's going to that was an ugly game, but it was a good ugly game if that makes sense." Because Ole Miss and Georgia played a really good football game where Ole Miss just did not want to give up. And I think that's why I think I'm really, really anticipating this matchup than the matchup Friday night. Both teams want it so bad. They want it so bad. And I think the advantage is really going to be on either team's defense. And I say look for this to be a defensive game. I think no team scores more than 24 points. I think this is going to be a really good defensive game by both teams.
I actually beg a little differ for this one. When I evaluated and did a preview on this, I say, okay, who has the advantage in the run game? That's a close one, but I'm gonna give a little bit of slightly edge to Ole Miss, the run game. Quarterback, I'll give it to Ole Miss. Coaching, I'll give it to Miami. Defense, I'll give it to Miami. As for receivers, I also will give it to Miami. It could be a low scoring game. It could be a high scoring game. I mean, we can all get catch by surprise. I predict, not only because I'm a Hurricane fan, but I don't see this as a lopsided. I remember seeing some kind of score like 33-17. I'm like, nah, I don't see.
No, no, no.
Oh,
That's way too much.
but let me just say a score. I think that Miami will win at least 30-23, in my opinion. Anything can happen. Anything can happen.
It could. I'm still gonna go with that because, well, you could be right. The over-under is 52. So basically, previews are talking about it being a close game. Miami is favored by 3. Um, but I think the defenses might kind of control that aspect. And again, I'm not saying this because they're in my backyard, but I think Miami has the edge that is working in their favor. Even though like Ole Miss has one too. They got their revenge win against Georgia. But I think Miami not to already put themselves in a position, but knowing that if they win this game, they basically go home to play for the national championship. I think that's a little bit of fuel, not to kind of say we're overlooking Ole Miss, but I think that could be fuel for the Hurricanes tonight, knowing if they win, they're playing in their home stadium, but yet they're gonna be technically the visitor if that happens. I'm gonna go with Miami on this one too, but I think their win is gonna be like the turning point of the Ohio State game. That pick six was the turning, and I think you got to look out for Miami's quarterbacks on this one. I think that defensive secondary is going to be the turning point of the game. I think the game is going to be close until maybe about third quarter. But I'll go a little bit. I'll go a little bit more for the score. So I'll go. I'll give Miami the 3 points, but I won't give the over under. So I'm gonna go Miami 27, Ole Miss 20. No, 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 no. Miami 27, Ole Miss 24.
All right, not too bad. Well, Avery, I'm gonna leave it right there. Hopefully we have ourselves a memorable Fiesta Bowl game tonight. Tomorrow we'll run it back to discuss tonight's game, as well as the preview of Oregon and Indiana, which will be tomorrow night. But yeah, Fiesta Bowl baby is here, and Hopefully, my Canes could come out victorious. I would love to see Miami and Indiana in the national title game. I'm feeling it, but hey, let's see what happens. There's only one game.
Yeah, and you know what? I like that too. You know, granted we're still in the semifinal. We need to see what happens after Friday night, but I like that. I like that matchup. I really like that matchup. I really do. Looking at what the Hurricanes have done throughout the season, what they've done in their playoff games so far. Indiana, of course, the absolute thrashing they gave to Alabama. And like I said in our last video, you know, you made it this far, type Indiana is legit because I think they could be it. I think they could be it. And that program has taken a turn that if you're an alumnus, if you just been a fan for I don't know how many years, you are proud. Same thing as a Hurricane fan. There, I work with Hurricane fans. I grew up, you know, with Hurricane fans. This is like anything, like those people who are Jets fans. This is generational. This is like, you know, this is the team, you know, from when it became was just a small school, you know, outside of Coral Gables to turning into the powerhouse that it was. So, and even for whatever is going on with Ole Miss, I mean, you got to give that team a lot of credit, a lot of credit for just making the best of their situation. And I think tonight is just going to be a really great game for both teams.